Hello, hello, JJ DiGeronimo here. Thank you so much for joining us. Another great week. Today we're talking about soul statements with Corey Lyon Folsom. Hi, Corey. How's it going?
Hi, JJ. Great, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I'd love to jump right in. What is a soul statement?
A soul statement is a type of affirmation that it doesn't bring the future towards you. It aligns you with what's already resourceful and true and good inside you. And so you're connecting to your own center, and you're stating something powerfully that can help your next thought be a better thought. So, for instance, my heart is a trusted guide. I can call upon the grit inside of me. My soul knows what to do. Those are soul statements.
Those feel so good. How did you even know to start discussing soul statements?
Well, a long time ago, I was in a room with Tony Robbins, and he said, our minds are not designed to make us happy. They're designed to look for what's wrong, and what's wrong is always available. But so is what's right. And I'm like, ah. So then when I was talking with my coaching clients, and we're talking about a point of distress or hopelessness or unhappiness, I asked them, what were you thinking right then? What was the message you're telling yourself? And then I would have them come up with a counter message that's more true and with regards to who they really are. And then so they have it in their back pocket to just, oh, wait, I used to think that thing. What's really true is uh, I have a loving heart. I am enough. And so and they were having this great success with it. I decided to write about it.
Hmm. What is really true is. I love that because it gives you more control, I think, or maybe the word not control, but more empowerment from within. And it's different than gratitude because a lot of people talk about, oh, have gratitude. But again, you're pushing the energy outward. So your soul statements pull the energy from within out.
Indeed, indeed. And I actually was just looking at this morning. I just wanted to read a quick paragraph, if I may, from the book of the same name. It says, soul statements help you pay attention to internal alignment, and this will lead you to be increasingly present to life. Your internal compass is never off, although your viewing of it may get fuzzy. The ultimate goal of soul statements is to help you readily access a state where you can hear your own signal. Enjoy being you, and remember, direction is more important than speed.
That is beautiful. Direction is more important than speed. And so I suspect, based on Tony Robbins's comment, right, that we're always going to be kind of sharing what's not working. How do you get your clients, how do you teach people to find the truth within?
Well, the real basis of it is spending time doing whatever connects you to you. So you're where you feel more connected, more grounded. And so I like to say that I want to tune my radio station to Corey. I want to vibrate as me. And so for some people, it's meditation. Other people, it's a walk in nature, or maybe journaling, getting in the ocean, whatever that is. And then, once you find you, then your job really is to keep you.
Corey, you and I must be on the same frequency. We must be from the same soul group because I use the words frequency, north or inner compass, soul guides. I'm really understanding what you're saying when you're talking about really finding that inner compass within and raising your frequency because I believe your vibe attracts your tribe. And so many of us in this matrix are taught to mute ourselves, like our inner conversation, but also to vibe at a really low frequency. And that's why I think they created social media, why they create TV, why they create all this nonsense conversation is to keep us at such a low frequency.
Yes, and I think it's really incumbent on each one of us, if we want a better life, to to start to curate our own thinking and not just have these unchallenged, unhelpful thoughts. And so we can say, as I said before, we can script in advance what we want to say to ourselves during those moments of thinking something unhelpful. And that creates when we go to that place, it creates a greater emotional coherence, and the voice in your head becomes more of a coach, a partner, an ally, versus just this source of, less than, or I can't kind of thinking.
Wow, that's beautiful. I think we can use all the help we can get, because unfortunately, when we come into this human body, the energy of the ego, the energy of the mind is so powerful. It really takes really focused effort to really allow your soul and the messages of your soul to bubble up. So your book, Soul Statement, like, how do people use the book? What is the book intended for?
It's intended for those people who will never get around to having coaching sessions with me. So I filled it with a ton of my best stuff. And so it's like a handy guide. It covers relationship, communication, daily ritual, how to live in the world, how to, deal with distress, or how to kind of climb back to a better way of relating to yourself and with people. And at the heart, it's a communication book. And the good communication starts with how we talk to ourselves.
I think that's beautiful. I have so many men that come to me that are like, do you know any men that can help us? Because I feel like they're struggling with a lot of the same things that women or all humans are struggling with. But oftentimes, like, the men that are teaching are unreachable, right? So the fact that you have
Oh,
a
yeah.
book and that you have coaching sessions, I think I envision, I have this place in that I work with in on Lake Erie, and I believe it's a healing center. And I envision having men's groups there where they can talk about their feelings safely, because there really isn't a place to do that. Often they don't go to yoga. They don't do a lot of the things that some people that have more feminine energy, although we both have masculine and feminine, find to do. So are you seeing more men coming to you?
No, I'm not. The usual person that comes to me is a woman who's maybe age 35 to 60, and she's either about to be single or single, and she wants to be ready to meet someone special. And she wants to prepare herself so that she doesn't just repeat the same patterns that she didn't like before. She wants to do it differently, do it better this time. And when I was a wilderness guide, I was working mostly with people ages 15 to 30. And there was always surprises and unexpected. And we're forced to develop a respect for darkness, topography, weather, the seasons, just the unexpected in general. And really the heart of it was learning how to be human with each other. Life's hard enough anyway. Let's not add to that. Let's see how we can listen and try to understand each other. And that's what made trips successful, is when the more we could do that.
Well, I want to talk about that in a second. I want to talk about the wilderness things in a second. So when you say, we go back to these women that come to you, they want to have successful relationships. A couple episodes ago, Natalie, she's from Europe, she talked about breaking the cycle of emotionally unavailable relationships.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like for a lot of women, we are taught at such an early age of how to show up. And oftentimes we take that behavior into our personal relationships. And a lot of women that I know are literally running around with their head cut off and can't understand why they don't have a deeper connection with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of what happens is we think that, there's this trap we can all fall into, which is thinking that this other person who we like and enjoy so much, we expect them to respond to any given thing the way we would respond. But it's helpful to remember a bunch of things, some of which are they didn't have our childhood. They didn't have our family. They didn't have our teachers. They didn't have our bullies or our friends or our thinking or our town, perhaps. So, or our gender. And so they just grew up with different pressures and different understandings. So, and if they're listening to that voice in their head, which is saying whatever it's saying, then if we had that same voice in our head, we'd probably think and do the same way that they are. So this other person isn't a defective version of me. They're different. And we're so much better off when we just seek to understand. And because each one of us are the expert on what we meant, what I meant by this, or what I was thinking when I did that. Well, everyone else is the authority on what it was like to be them, our impact on them. And so it's behooves us to listen and to try to understand, get curious versus critical.
Great quote, Stephen Covey, right? Seek to understand before being understood.
Yes.
But how does I have my interpretation of how this is working for you, but how does the soul statements help women like that lean into relationships better?
No one's ever asked me that question. So the main thing is you want to revolve around your own center. And so it's like when you're right on the inside, you can handle just about anything. If you're off balance or uncentered, there's less, you know, sometimes if it's really extreme, you can't handle anything. And so you want to do the things that are important to you to keep your emotional well filled, your gas tank topped off. And so each partner, you should have alone time. You should have things that are non-negotiables, your time in, whatever form of devotion or silence or contemplation that you enjoy, what the thing that feeds your spirit. So the things that feed your spirit, you should keep doing when you get into partnership. And to the time you like each other so much, you end up letting other friends fade away, and that's generally not a good idea. And so just the more you can take responsibility for your own happiness, and so the more you can think about, what do I want to create? What do I want? What the kind of experience I want to have when we come together, and how can I contribute to making that a reality? So I like to say it's less clinging and more about what you're bringing.
I love that. Less clinging, more about what you're bringing. I asked this because I had to do this myself. And so I've had to do this inside work because for so long, I was seeking outward to fill my bucket and to feel good about myself. And I had to spend some serious time seeking. I write a lot about all the things that you have to work through to remove the dark, to create space for light. And I feel like after several years, I'm really, truly now understanding what it means to keep your frequency high. And that when you raise your frequency, or in your case, fill your fuel tank or have your well overflow, you have different experiences. And so it's not about changing somebody else. It's about working in more alignment with yourself so that the outside reflects the inside.
Sure. Well, at whatever level you're vibrating at, that's what you'll bring in, and that's what you'll vibe with circumstances and people. And the more you raise your vibration, people that will naturally go somewhere else if they're not a good match for you.
Yeah. I love that. And I feel like you said, you have to change the conversation you're having with yourself. I also say, you have to pay attention to what you're paying attention to, right? Outside.
Yeah.
And I think changing that conversation with yourself is the hardest part of the equation. And because it's like you don't, unless you're mindful and super present, you don't even know what you're saying to yourself.
That's right. And so I found humor helps me. So I might, if I hear I've been letting myself catastrophize without thinking too hard about it. I'll go, oh my, I can't believe I'm thinking that again. I've been thinking this my whole life. It's like, again, really? And so I'll just have that little feedback to my own brain, like, really? You have to be kidding me. And, here we go. Okay. That's false evidence appearing real, or future event already ruined. And what I know to be true is what I'm actually, stronger than that. I'm better than that. And so what I'm declaring now, and the more you can feel when you're declaring some truth about yourself, the more you can feel it emotionally, the more it's actually effective, because you want your cells to hear it, and they're not gonna your cells aren't gonna necessarily hear your thinking quite as strongly as they'll hear what you're feeling. And so when you say I'm enough, you should feel that as best you can, and maybe when you get it, your bones will feel more solid, and you go, yes, all of me is in agreement. That's true. And it just leads to better thinking and better actions.
I agree. I think it takes a while to get there, but I love the steps of soul statements where what does my soul really feel? Let's bypass the ego. Let's bypass my negative self, Nelly. Let's get to the soul statements like I am love. I am light. I am aligned with a higher purpose. I am here for a reason. Having statements that make you feel like you're part of something bigger and that you have everything you need right now is wonderful. So the book that you have, Soul Statements, is such a powerful tool for people that don't know what to say to themselves.
Yeah. And I can remember I went to this workshop a long time ago about how to love yourself. And I didn't know that's what it was about until I was there, that the theme. And I was like, they're saying this and they're saying that. I had no idea how to get from where I was to where they were. And it didn't really, I didn't really relate too much to what they were saying. And it was just so foreign to me. And then luckily during the weekend, I was able to say, wait, I could start with self-acceptance. Like, I accept that I did this. I neglected to do that. I can accept it. And that's where I had to begin. And that's one of the stepping stones on the path to self-love.
So beautiful. So beautiful. And I love how you use Mother Nature. So are you still doing wilderness hikes?
Just solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great reminder that honestly, I feel like everything you need to find is in nature. You just have to look for it.
Yes. And I have a particular experience where I felt this so deeply that it's now one of my soul statements. And I know right where I was and how it felt to be there when I say, the contentment of the mountains lives inside me.
That's beautiful. The contentment of the mountains lives inside me. Yes, I just think there's so many things you can find in nature. Like I bloom at the right time, right?
Nice.
Using the seasons, as Rebecca Campbell would say, the seasons of you have to have winter to have summer,
Mm-hmm.
and letting go is an okay thing for the next version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is so great. I feel like your work, Corey, is going to move beyond your existing group of people. I feel like more men are going to be coming your way. And I feel like for all of us, like we need to relearn how we move through life to really raise the frequency, not only for ourselves, but for the planet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I like to say self-care is soul care. Remember that?
So what do you do for self-care?
I do a workout. I do, about 1, 2, 3. I do like 5 strength training things I do every morning. And because you're supposed to have protein after the workout, it means that I can't have breakfast until I've done that. So that was what made the difference for me, where I finally started doing it. It was like, oh no, I want breakfast, but I have to do this thing first. And I also have time. I have a little altar with candle and different stuff at my home. And I spend time every morning just being quiet there. And oftentimes I'll try to feel my own stillness. And I can remember times that I felt it and just remember what that felt like, because what the feeling is what you're going for. And then also I'll stand in the sunlight in the morning at a different spot, and I'll just feel like the light just going through my body as a healing force. So
I love that. I love that. So you are really using your day and the things that you do in your day to remind you, ground you, and allow you to center in the energy of the soul statements.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
And then I'll have this little thing I'll say too when I'm trying to meditate. I'm trying to be more still, and if I find myself thinking about something, I'll just say, "Be Corey, be Corey."
Mm. I love that. Be the light of your soul. I love that. Just so many great nuggets for people to remember that this is a little bit of a matrix. You have to learn the game of being and aligning with your soul. And I think Corey's book, Soul Statements, is a great tool for you to really remember how to talk to yourself with the inner alignment necessary to raise your frequency. So with that, Corey, thank you so much. All your links are below. What do you have on the horizon people should be aware of?
Well, I'm working on just formulating how to do a card deck and an audio book version of Soul Statements.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. People love different ways to touch the same material, and I think people like to take the books on the go. So I look forward to seeing when those are available, and I really appreciate you joining Together We Seek podcast.
Thanks so much, JJ.
Thank you. And everyone out there, have a great day. Thank you for joining us. We love to hear about the work that you're doing to align with your soul. What are the messages, the conversations, and the work that you're doing to raise your frequency? With that, we see you again next time. Thank you.